It was a busy week at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. Former Speaker of the National Assembly, Baleka Mbete, made her first appearance to answer for Parliament's failure to act on allegations of state capture. Former State Security Minister David Mahlobo returned with strong denials that he was ever Jacob Zuma's henchman, and two unidentified intelligence operatives made more startling claims about the country's spooks being riddled with political interference, corruption and administrative problems. It was, however, Norma Mngoma, the estranged wife of former Cabinet Minister Malusi Gigaba, who stole the show when she appeared before Justice Raymond Zondo. Here's eNCA's Khayeliihle Khumalo with the wrap of this week's hearings.
Then can I please take you to paragraph 49 under the heading Gifts. Paragraph 49, you deal with the fact that Mr. A.J. Gupta gave Mr. Gigaba a BMW.
Yes.
And his simple or short response to that is the contents hereof are denied. Do you confirm the contents of your paragraph 49?
Yes, I know, because I drove that car almost a year. But what I remember, when that car, we need to get the renewal of the disc. I think it was a year or almost like 2 years when I was driving that car. So I remember when that car needed to go to service, or maybe we need to get a disc, and even the time when I delivered that car. So his friend, Malusi had two Zimbabwean friends who used to do that for him, especially this one friend was focused on this car. So who used to call me, then we call each other Mlungu, because he was dark like Malusi, so it was me way of teasing him. So he will call me, Mlungu, where are you? Then I'm like, no, I will tell him where I am. Like, when are you coming to Sentin? Oh, can I meet you? I want to give you the disc. Or sometimes he was like, no, I want to check the car. When is it due for service? So Joe used to do that for him. So that was his friend. Even the day I took the car to drop it off, when he didn't come back. So I was in the roadblock, and the Metropolis officer said to me, are you aware that your light is not working at the front? Then I said I didn't know. Then he said, come out and look. Then I looked at the car, because it was a bit in the evening. So when I got home, I told Malusi that I'm going to take the car to fix the lights in the morning, because the police said that. So in the morning, Malusi was like, no, don't take the car. I already called my friend, take the car, drop it off with him, so then the protectors will fetch you, come back. Then I was like, no, but there's so many BMWs around where we stay in Pretoria. Why must I take the car all the way to Sandton? Then he was like, no, I want Joe to do it. So that was his friend. So he wanted his friend to do it, because most of everything that happens at our house in terms of the car, because Malusi never had a car in his name. So his friends do those things for him. So we don't take cars to service. So I only do that when I bought my own car.
How long did you drive this BMW for?
I drove it, I think, a year and a half, or almost 2 years.
My colleague points out to me, if I could take you back to paragraphs 42 and 43, that I think I mentioned to you that I don't think that you dealt with this in your initial evidence. What's been pointed out to me that these paragraphs under the heading Gupta's applications for South African citizenship, that was one of the things that you said needed to be recrafted.
Yes.
I see it's not something that you've addressed in your correcting affidavit.
Yes.
Do you then...
I'm sorry, Ms. Mabek, have you moved away from the BMW?
Yes, I've gone backwards.
Go back.
Yes, I've gone backward. Do you want to ask something about the BMW?
On the BMW, unless you are still going to go back.
No. Please.
Yes. You say you kept that car, you drove that car for about a year and a half.
Yes. And then when I drop it off at his friend's place. But I don't know why I took pictures of it when I was standing there at his place in Sandton. And then when the hoax took my gadgets, so those are the kind of the pictures also that were deleted. All the pictures of that car are deleted on my phone.
And would there be I guess there would be friends and other people who knew the car when you were driving it.
Yeah, there were people who know that I was driving that car.
Yes. And did you say it was registered in your name, or was it not last time?
It was in my name, but very short. It was changed after my name, then it was registered on his friend's name. So when I was looking for it now, I contacted the license department. So they told me that the change of ownership of the car moves from this owner to another owner, then everything just changed automatically to go to another person. So because it was his friend, I don't know why Malusi changed the car from me to his friend.
When did you get to know that part?
Sorry?
When did you get to know that the car was registered in his friend's name at some stage?
Oh no, he did it like, I think a few months I was driving the car. Malusi told me that he wants the car to be registered under his friend.
Oh, so that was done while you were still
Yes,
using
and I asked him why. So he said because his divorce dragged for too long. So he said he doesn't want the car to be there because he was married in commits of property, so he doesn't want the car to be taken away from him. So let's put it on his friend. So then he did it.
Yes, okay, Mr. Maidek.
Yes, I just wanted to take you back to paragraphs 42 and 43. When you initially gave evidence, you indicated that these paragraphs would have to be recrafted. But I've noted from your correcting affidavit that you don't deal with them. Do you confirm then the accuracy of paragraphs 42 and 43? This is your version.
Yes, this is my version. The only part that I was correcting on the old affidavit, it was the word saying Malusi approved the neutralization of the Guptas.
That's paragraph 44.
Yes.
But you're happy with 42 and 43?
Yes.
Right. All right. Then, if I could take you, please, to paragraph 54. Now, this is the paragraph where you explain that at the Gupta residence, this is the handover of money. You say that Mr. Gigaba would call one of his CPOs to bring his leather bag. It was in the boot. It would be put at the front door. He would collect it. Mr. Gigaba would carry it to a private meeting room. A short while later, he would emerge with the bag, carry it out of the residence for the CPO to place in the boot. I recall that Mr. Gigaba had 2 of these leather bags. You attach similar examples in photographs. And then at 55, you go on to say that you subsequently came to learn that these bags had bundles of cash in. Now, what Mr. Gigaba says at paragraph 110 is that this is a blatant untruth. And he says, I refer to a transcript of an eNCA interview given by Namshula on 17 December, a copy of which is attached as KMG3. 112. As appears therefrom, she stated that she had never seen me receive any cash physically, and further that she had no evidence of me having received such cash. However, she now claims she saw me with a sports bag or some leather bag, the evidence of which is drawn from internet sources. Now, perhaps I could just take you to another file of documents. I assume you have it in front of you. It's SEQ 18. In other words, that's Mr. Gigaba's application. SEQ 18. All right. We don't seem to have that, Chairperson.
Do we not have?
That's, of course, where Mr. Gigaba's affidavit is bundled.
It should have been here. Anyway, if you are able
It's
to
not
figure it out,
it's not a particular problem. Perhaps what I could do, and of course I will raise this with Mr. Gigaba as well, and we'll make sure that we have his affidavit here.
Yeah.
But I just want to read to you a portion of the transcript. This is KMG3. It's the transcript of the eNCA interview. And this is at the foot of page 70 of SEQ 18 of 2021. You'll recall, Ms. Gigaba, this was worked through in consultation with you.
Yes.
It records you as having said this: even for our wedding, our honeymoon, so there was always there to help financially, like all the time. And then you said this, the last 5 lines: although I was not there when they give the money, but I will see when we leave. Because every time when we go there, he used to carry a bag, and they will give him money. And when we get home, he will take the money and put it in a safe and pack it. So yes, it was there. So what do you say to Mr. Gigaba's contention in paragraph 112, that she stated that she never saw me receive any cash physically, and further that she had no evidence of having received such cash, however she now claims? What do you say to that?
So I will explain as the way I explained it in the beginning. So what happens?
Sorry, this is about what you said.
Yes.
During the eNCA interview.
Yes.
What you said is, although I was not there when they give the money, but I will see him when we leave. Because every time we go there, he used to carry a bag and they will give him money. What do you say to Mr. Gigaba's version that you effectively didn't say that?
He didn't say that. You're saying that?
Mr. Gigaba says that you said during the eNCA interview that you had never seen him receive any cash.
Because I said on the interview that I saw Malusi packing money at home. And it was the same bag that we came with it at the Gupta house.
Did you ever see him receive cash from the Guptas?
I've never seen them giving him money, and
Yes.
that's what I said even in the interview.
Yes.
But what used to happen, when we arrive, Malusi won't take his bag with him inside.
Yeah.
So then we will leave our phones. Then when we were about to leave, Malusi will come, go take his phone, and call one of his protectors. He will say, "Chief, please bring my bag." So the protector will bring the bag. Malusi will go in with the bag. And when we leave, Malusi will take the bag with him. So that time, I didn't know what was inside, what was happening. But there's this one day, we were home, and we came from the Gupta's house, and then quickly when I get home, Malusi went to his study. Then I quickly went to check the child. When I got there, the nanny was telling me that the child is sick, so I checked the temperature. Then I felt the temperature was too high. Then I rushed to him. When I was there, I saw him packing the money. And then I was shocked when I saw a lot of money. Malusi was packing it because his safe was open. Then I asked him, I was like, "Where do you get a lot of money? Why so much money?" Then he shouted at me. He was like, "Why I didn't knock?" I didn't understand why I have to knock at home, at our own home. Then he kept on shouting like, "Why you didn't knock when you come in the house?" Then I was like, "The child is sick. Where do you get this money? Why this money?" Then he was like, "I got it from the Guptas," because it was the same bag. Then I was like, "Why the Guptas are giving you so much money?" He said it was for the elections. So he's going to take it and he give it to the treasury of the ANC. Then I was like, "What is it for?" Then he said, there are things that they need to do. Sometimes they buy T-shirts. So he explained like that. But I didn't know how. I remember when I asked, I was like, "So why you have to raise this money yourself?" Then he said, like, "This is the nature of the ANC. as the head of election, he used to raise money. So the money was for the elections. And then after that, he said he's coming. He continued to pack the money. Then I left. Then after that, we take the child to the hospital.
Sorry, Ms. Gigaba.
Yes.
Just so that we understand.
Okay.
You didn't see Mr. Gigaba
Yes.
get money, physically get money
From the Gupta
from the
compound.
Guptas. As I understand it, you describe what happened,
Yes.
and then you describe at paragraph 55, you say, I subsequently learned that the bags contained bundles of cash.
Yes.
And there you explain the shopping in Sandton City, all right?
Yes.
And you, on another occasion, speak about the unpacking of the money into a safe. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Right.
Also, when this instance happened in Sandton, it was not only me alone.
Yes.
His bodyguards
Sorry,
also.
I just want you to confirm
Yes, I confirm.
that you didn't see him
Yes.
receive money. You didn't see money being put into the bag
Yes.
at the Gupta residence.
Yes.
How did you come to learn that he received money from the Guptas?
The one that I saw him taking it home from the bag that he came out with from the
Yes.
Gupta house, he said to me he got that money from the Guptas.
Yes.
And I asked him, what was it for? He said it was for elections.
Yes, you've explained that.
Yes.
And how else? Were there other occasions that you came to
We
learn?
were in Sandton.
Yes, in Sandton. And what
Yes.
happened in Sandton?
So we were coming from the Gupta's house. It was me, him, and his protectors. So then the money, there was a bag in the boot. So when Malusi came at the front, because they used to open both of us, Malusi was on the other, I was on the other side. Then Malusi went in the boot, and then he opened the big bag. The bag was coming from the Gupta's house. And then he took the money, he put it, and his bodyguards were there also. It was not only me. And it was just a stash of cash.
At 55.1, you say there were several occasions when Mr. Gigaba and I would go to Sandton City immediately after visiting the Gupta residence. Is that right?
Yes.
At Sandton City, and in my full view, Mr. Gigaba would take bundles of cash out of the same leather bag that he had brought from the Gupta residence. Is that right?
No.
Right.
So what used to happen, it will be a big bag.
Yes.
Okay, chairperson. So it used to be a big bag that it will come out from the Gupta house. Then it will go in the boot. So the two instances I remember, at home, Malusi was packing the money from that big bag that was coming from the Gupta house. And he confirmed to me that he was given that money by AJ for the elections. The second time it was in Sandton. So he took the money from the big bag to a small bag. So wherever he goes, Malusi used to have like a sling bag that is small. So he didn't take that whole entire big bag. He took the money, he put it on the small bag. And then he took some of it, he gave to his protector. He said he must go and pay for his suit. And sometimes when we're in Sandton, we will go have lunch, and then he will ask his bodyguard, please go pay for my suit. So he used to go pay for the suit. So most of the time the man will already on his sling bag, which means he will put it home before we come. Not like all the time he will do the transfer from this way.
Let me put the question another way.
Okay.
How many times were you together with Mr. Gigaba in Sandton City after a visit to the Gupta residence? How many times?
That I saw the money from the big bag transferred.
Yes.
It was once.
And how many times were you with Mr. Gigaba when he bought suits?
It was a couple of times.
Yeah. And where did the money come from for the suits?
From his small bag,
Yeah.
the sling bag that he used to carry.
Yeah.
So you say...
DCJ, I'm told that we have to adjourn very urgently.
Oh,
It's apparently a protector-related issue.
I've been informed that there are security reasons for us to adjourn. So I know that we were going to hear evidence and then Mr. Peter's evidence. So We are going to adjourn. I'm sorry about that. It's a situation beyond everyone's control.
But on Friday morning, Norma Mngoma was confronted with tough questions.
On both days, this is on the 20th and the 21st of January, on both days, Ms. Mngoma was offered security if she felt that her life was in danger. Would you confirm that?
In the beginning, they asked me, do I need a security? And then I said no, because there was nothing that will make me wanted a security. When I wanted a security, I told them when I needed it, and they said they would contact me, and they didn't.
So let's go through the chronology, because you seem to be agreeing with what Mr. Masuku says.
Yes.
On 15, paragraph 15, on both those dates, Ms. Mngoma indicated that she was not scared and will continue with the preparation of her main affidavit. I understand what you say.
Yes, I did.
Then he goes on to say, subsequent to the meetings in paragraph 13 above, I had a number of telephonic interactions with Ms. Mngoma regarding threats she had received via her telephone and in person. You confirm that? I immediately took up these matters with the Commission's head of security. On 10 March 2021, I held a discussion with Ms. Mngoma following additional threats she had received, and I also reminded her that the Commission is awaiting for her to elect a security arrangement that she requires so that the arrangements can be actioned. Would you confirm that?
So I can confirm, but the way he's putting it, that's not the way he put it on to me.
All right. But you confirm the paragraph?
I confirmed the paragraph, but it was the security was going to contact me, not the other way around.
The security would contact you?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said he's going to talk to his head of security, and the head of security will call me, and the head of security didn't call me.
Well, you see what he says. He was waiting for you to elect a security arrangement.
So which means there was a miscommunication then. Also, how I was going to contact the head of security, because I didn't have their numbers and I don't even know them.
You weren't going to contact the head of security, you're going to contact him.
But I called him.
All right. Well, as you say, there must be some kind of miscommunication.
On the issue of security arrangement, what was your understanding? He talks about he says the Commission was waiting for you to elect a security arrangement. What was your understanding about a security arrangement, if you had any understanding?
So my own understanding, so Sakila said to me, I'm going to talk to the head of security. I will hear what they can provide, because we do provide security. So based on what is happening, they will lead us. What do we need to do? It's either it's a place of safety or they give me the bodyguard. So it was most of that. And then he said he will come back to me, and he didn't come back to me. So I was waiting for him to come back to me. What did the head of security say?
Okay.
All right, and then at paragraph 19, on 20 March, a meeting was arranged with Ms. Mngoma in the presence of Advocate Ngitobi, at which the Commission's head of security took her through various security options available to her. The meeting concluded with informing Ms. Mngoma that she needs to contact me once she has decided on a security arrangement. Did you have this meeting on the 20th of March with Advocate Ngitobi and the head of security?
Yes, we did.
So that's the Saturday meeting?
Yes, he was there also. But also still the same. In the meeting, Tembega raised those concerns, I raised the concern as well, and the head of the security was there. Then they said they will contact me how everything will be structured, and they didn't contact me. So I'm not sure where the miscommunication was, because for me, I was waiting for them to tell me, because even on the meeting, no one gave me the number of this head of security to contact them.
Yes, but Ms. Mngoma, look at what it says at 19.
What it says?
The meeting concluded with informing Ms. Mngoma that she needs to contact me, not the head of security, once she has decided on the security arrangement. That's what Mr. Masuku says, that you should contact him, not the head of security.
But in the meeting, the head of security was there. They said to me, here's the guy who deals with the security. And they explained two ways of the security, how the security is being offered to witnesses. And then they said they will contact me, then we will discuss which one is good for me. Because we didn't agree on the meeting which one is good for me, in terms of I'm going to a place of safety or they're giving me the bodyguard. So I was waiting for their call when they're done, that what are we doing? So it was not like I was supposed to contact them.
At paragraph 20, on the 8th of April, a further meeting between the Commission and Ms. Mngoma and her legal representative, Ms. Makatini, occurred. At the end of these meetings, I again advised Ms. Mngoma that the Commission is still awaiting for her to advise on which security option she chooses, and she informed me that she will get back to me. What do you say about that?
So that was after I appeared at the Commission. My lawyer called me. He said, Sakile called. He was asking, do I still want the security? Which I said, because I already appeared at the Commission, so I don't need the security.
So the 8th of April was before you appeared before the Commission.
What happened before I appeared? I'm not sure where the Commission was waiting for me to advise on that, because for me, I was waiting for the Commission. So they were waiting for me, I was waiting for them.
But can I just ask you something, Ms. Mngoma? 26 April, was that the evening that you gave evidence, remember, late into the night?
Say that again.
26 April, was that the evening that you gave evidence late into the night? Remember giving evidence?
Say that again.
On the 26th of April, was that the evening that you gave evidence late into the night?
Yes.
Right. Do you remember that I read into the record my instructions from Mr. Masuku, that he had asked you, put options, that you didn't come back, You remember me putting that on the record?
Yes, but when we're discussing that on the meetings, it was not up to me to come back to them.
Yes, but even after you gave evidence, you still didn't go back to Mr. Masuku. I mean, you then knew what his position was.
What his position was?
That he was waiting for you to come back to him with which option you wanted.
I don't know that they were waiting for me. What I know, they were supposed to call me and tell me.
Oh, you see, you're misunderstanding me. When you say you didn't know they were waiting for you, that's what I told the DCJ. I placed on record that evening, I had a spreadsheet where I read into the record what Mr. Masuku was saying.
What Mr. Masuku was saying?
He was saying that he asked you to come back to him, that you hadn't come back to him repeatedly.
What is repeatedly? Is it different times where he called me?
Let me put it this way. You remember when you gave evidence for the first time?
Yes.
You did say that, or you expressed concerns, maybe criticism, that the Commission had not taken care of your security concerns. You
yes.
remember that? And during your evidence, Mr. Maibek said at some stage he had been informed by Mr. Masuku
yes.
what the position was as far as Mr. Masuku was concerned.
Yes.
And he said that Mr. Masuku's version was that they were waiting for you to come back to them about which, I think, security option you were choosing. And you did say, if I recall correctly, what you say now, namely that they were supposed to contact you, but he was saying you were the one who was supposed to come back to them. So what Mr. Mayberg is putting to you is he wants you to confirm whether you remember that evening he did tell you that Mr. Masugu's version was that they were waiting for you to come back to them about which security arrangement you were choosing, and that they had been asking you to come back to them. That's what he wants you to confirm, whether you remember him saying that to you on that evening.
I remember him asking me that, but there was no way where I knew that I have to tell them which option am I choosing, because I thought the commission was going to call me and say, there's this and this, which one are you choosing?
Okay, Mr. Mayberg.
Thank you. He then says at paragraph 22 at page 1027.26, I only learned through Ms. Mngoma's supplementary clarification affidavit dated 18 May 2021 that Ms. Mngoma no longer requires security.
Yes, that's true. After I appeared, they called my lawyer, and my lawyer told me that Sakile asked that do I need the security, and the commission wants to offer. Then I said, I don't think I still need it because I already appeared to the commission.
Then he deals with the leak of your affidavit. At paragraph 23, on 12 March 2021, the commission emailed Ms. Mngoma's one main affidavit, which deals with the substance of her evidence in its entirety, to the legal representatives of Mr. Gigaba and Mr. A.J. Gupta. This was done in compliance with Rule 3.3 of the Commission's published rules. The remaining parties who may be implicated by evidence only received extracts of such affidavit attached to Rule 3.3 notices which relate to each of them. So I think you do know that the affidavit, the full affidavit, was sent to Mr. Gigaba and Mr. A.J. Gupta, and that caused you some concern, correct?
I, myself and Advocate Tembega, we only knew that they would send it to Malusi, and Tembega told me that. So that my affidavit was sent to AJ, it's me who told Tembega, because I had from someone from the commission who said the two people who has my affidavit, it's AJ and Mr. Gigaba. And then I told Tembega. Then Tembega was like, Paul didn't tell me that he will give your affidavit to AJ, and why he's giving your affidavit to AJ, because AJ doesn't want to cooperate with the commission. And Tembega raised that on the meeting, why my affidavit was given to AJ Gupta, because both of us were not told. So we only learn about that when my affidavit was already leaked.
But you don't profess to know about the workings of Rule 3.3 of the Commission's rules?
This, Tembega told me about the rule, but based only my affidavit was given to Malusi, and I asked him why, so he explained what Rule 3.3 meant.
At paragraph 24, on 20 March, I was called by Ms. Mngoma when she informed me that she was contacted by the Sunday Times journalist wanting her comments on her one main affidavit which deals with the evidence that Ms. Mngoma submitted to the Commission and which was in the possession of the journalist. I think you've already dealt with that.
Yes.
At 25, I then immediately commenced a process of investigating the source of the leak of Ms. Mngoma's affidavit to the media. The Commission also successfully took steps necessary to prevent the publication of such affidavit that would have been in violation of the regulations governing the Commission. Would you confirm that?
Yes.
I performed various investigation procedures, including obtaining the copy that was in possession of the Sunday Times, and conducted detailed investigations on the Commission's internal processes prior to and up to sending out Ms. Mngoma's main affidavit to implicated parties in compliance with Rule 3.3, and also got assistance from the Commission's Data Forensic Technology Department. Will you accept that?
I don't know. I think that was his investigation.
My final conclusion is that, says Mr. Masuku, is that I'm not able to identify which of the two affidavits mentioned in paragraph 23 above was leaked, as both documents' electronic stamp stroke identifiers are the same, the limited resources of the Commission does not permit conclusive verification. I assume that also falls outside of your knowledge.
Yeah, it's outside of my knowledge.
So, but you understand that last paragraph?
I understand it, but it's shocking because in the meeting they said to me, each and every copy of the affidavit has a mark on. When they will do the investigation, they will know who leaked the affidavit. Because I said to them, I thought it was the Commission who leaked it. And they wanted to know why I thought it's the Commission. So I said I thought it was the Commission because myself and Tembeka didn't have the copy. And then we didn't know that AJ has the copy. We thought it was Malusi. And then Tembeka raised concerns about Malusi leaking the affidavit because he was like, it doesn't make sense for him. Why would Malusi leak the affidavit because he's implicated in the affidavit? And the fact that when I was called by City Press before, not the Sunday Times, when they called me, they said, where is your affidavit? And that time we were still putting together, I didn't even have my affidavit there. And that time it was just the information. We didn't even take an agreement that we are going to the Commission or are you going to use it? So when they called me, so the lady, the journalist said to me, we want your affidavit. Where are you? We can come and take it, the copy. We will bring it back. We do that with the other people. And I told the Commission that the journalist said to me, they have their own people at the Commission who leaked the affidavit. So that was my reason. I thought the Commission leaked my affidavit.
Malusi Gigaba is not prepared to take it lying down. Shortly after his wife concluded her testimony, he took the stand.
You obviously had Ms. Mngoma's evidence, and when she was asked to indicate how many times you visited the Gupta residence, she said many times, and in terms of the number, she said could not have been less than 20 times. I think she said more than that. You think, what's your reaction to that estimate?
Mr. Chairman, I'm a bit conflicted here, let me declare, because I would want an opportunity, ample opportunity to respond comprehensively to Ms. Mngoma's creative imagination. I want to deal with what she testified here, the extensive lies, the inaccuracies, and the fabrications. But it suffices for now to say it was not more than 20 times.
It was not more than 20 times.
It was not more than 20 times, as she claims.
Yeah.
Because it would beg the question, how did she arrive at that calculation, given that the instances she refers to, at which she claims she was present, do not even amount to more than 2 or 3 times. That being the case, if she was not there over the next, say, 16 to 17 times, then how does she know she was not there?
And as I have it, you attended some social functions at the Gupta, social and cultural functions, is that right?
Yes.
Did you have any other interaction with them during that time that you were the Deputy Minister of the Department of Home Affairs?
I don't exactly recall. I do recall that on several occasions I would have gone to pick up an invite, I think at Sahara Computers. So, but I don't have the exact, recollection of those incidents, because obviously had I known that, I would have to explain them, more than 10 years later, almost 10 years later, then I would have kept record of it. But because they were just social interactions. They didn't bother me, and I didn't record them.
And when we talk about social and cultural interactions, are we talking about things like the Diwali function, etc.?
Yes. So this would have been over a certain period, not only confined to the time when I was deputy minister. So it would be over a period which would have included, I think at a later stage, an invite to the wedding, and there was some other luncheon that we attended. It was just a social luncheon. There were a number of other people. We had lunch, finished, we left.
Now, when you became the Minister of the Department of Public Enterprises,
yes,
did you interact more or less with the Guptas?
Oh, no, I continued interacting with them. You see, there were different forms of interaction. As I explained in my in one of my affidavits, Mr. Chairman, it would have been while I attended the New Age SABC breakfast programs, either when I was speaking or I was accompanying the president, and once when I accompanied the officials after the 2014 January 8th rally of the ANC. It would have been at state dinners where they were invited, or it would have been at, what was the occasion? Yeah, but it would have been on several occasions under different circumstances.
And whilst you were the Minister of the DPE?
Yes. So whilst I was Minister of Public Enterprises, my interactions with them did not increase or decrease. You know, they continued because, as I say, I knew them. So what I'm not denying here is that I knew them. As many people knew them, I also knew them. So I continued interacting with them. On several occasions, I would have, as I said, visited their residence and interacted with them at different functions. So there was no increase in the interactions, yes.
And when you say that you knew them, who in particular did you know and who did you interact with?
I knew all the brothers. And on one occasion, I was introduced to their mother. I think she had just come back into the country. I think so. So they introduced me to the mother. So I knew all of the brothers, yes.
You mentioned that during this time, when you were the Minister of Public Enterprises, you would visit their residence. I mean, I'm talking now inquiring into other instances than social or cultural functions. In what circumstances would you otherwise visit their residence?
It was social or cultural. There were no other functions. As I indicated right at the beginning of the cross-examination, Mr. Chairman, I had no dealings. So I had no reason to visit them for dealings. I'm not a businessman. I've never been a businessman. Even now, I work for the African National Congress. I'm not a businessman, so I've had no need to discuss businesses with anyone. And certainly, you know, as the previous witness indicated, I live quite a modest life. I don't have businesses, so there was no javelin that I threw whilst I was in government, because I think my departure from government in 2018 was somewhat unexpected, even by myself.
So, if I understand your evidence correctly, whilst you were the Minister of Public Enterprises, you would only have attended the Gupta residence for purposes of social and cultural functions.
Yes.
And in that 4-year period, or so? How many times would you estimate you went to the Gupta residence?
I unfortunately cannot recall. I can't recount how many times that would have been. Because I was quite busy, and the interactions would have been, mitigated by the fact that as you become the minister, your responsibilities also increase, and so your time to visit people acquaintances, friends, or so, does get limited because you've got quite enormous responsibilities in your hands. So I unfortunately, Mr. Chairman, cannot specifically say how many times or even try to guesstimate.
Over what period did you say, Mr. Madlek?
During the period that Mr. Gigaba was the Minister of Public Enterprises, from November 2010 to May 2014.
Okay, that's a 5-year period. Okay.
So you wouldn't even be able to estimate, was it once a year, twice a year?
No, I wouldn't be able to estimate. And I think I would be unfair to the Commission if I tried to do so. Because the most important thing, Mr. Chairman, is not how many times you meet, interact, or visit a friend or an acquaintance. The most important thing is what do you do with them. And as I say, I had no business dealings. So whatever interactions with them were just social, and there were no expectations of me. Probably, if you go, even by the testimony of the previous witness, I did not deliver anything. I just simply did my work, and whomsoever I knew them, and my knowledge of them had no impact on the work that I was expected to deliver. I'm also quite a stubborn person.
If the period that Mr. Maibek asked about is a period of 5 years from when you became Minister of Public Enterprises in 2010, which I think was from 1 November.
Yes. So it's almost 4 years, Mr. Chairman, if I may jump into now.
Or did you leave before the end of the 5-year term?
No, I started at the end of 2010.
Oh, okay.
And left at the beginning of 2014.
Yeah, no, you are right. You are right. Yeah. If one were to ask, not over a 4-year period or so, but over the entire period, would that make it easier for you to estimate? Maybe it's difficult to estimate if you're looking at a particular time, but if you look at the entire time, it might be easier.
Entire time, Mr. Chairman, from
wherever you started going there, wherever it is when you started going to the residence. I think he was asking about visits to the Gupta residence.
Now, I wouldn't, again, I would not be able to indicate how many times over that period, because as I say, you go for a specific purpose, that thing is finished, you leave.
Yes.
And social functions or cultural activities are not that much, even in a year. So,
but you recall maybe when your first visit may have been, around about when it might have been to the Gupta residence?
No, I don't recall when the first visit was. I don't recall when it was.
Yeah, okay, no, that's all right. Mr. Maibek?
Yes, thank you. And was there then a time that you stopped going there, or made a conscious effort not to go there anymore?
I think around 2014, I scaled down the interactions. I scaled them down. I wouldn't say it was a conscious effort that I've decided to scale the interactions down. I think on my part, I was quite very busy, and the elections campaign at the beginning of 2014 had taken a toll in terms of in terms of the burden of responsibilities which I carried. So I think around 2014, my interactions with them scaled down quite significantly.
Did you ever have occasion to meet Mr. Salim Essa?
I only met Mr. Salim Essa after their appointment on the board of Broadband Infraco, when I was being introduced to the board, or vice versa, when the board was being introduced to me as the shareholder. Private meetings with him, no.
And were you responsible for appointing that board?
Yes, the Broadband Infraco is under the under the shareholder Ministry of Public Enterprises.
Now, during your tenure as the Minister of Public Enterprises, that was at a time when Transnet acquired the 1064 locomotives, correct?
Indeed.
Your relationship and dealings with the Gupta family, when did you first meet members of the Gupta family?
I do not have a specific recollection, Chairperson, but I was still president of the ANC Youth League. It would have been at different occasions. It was not direct meetings and interactions with them, because back then, I think as Mr. Gwede Mantashe indicated when he was here, they were quite involved in the ANC, helping the ANC to fundraise. So they were well known among the leadership of the ANC. I think from records, they had served one of them had served in the International Investment Council during President Mbeki's time, and I don't know whether it's Investment Council or the IT one, and they were quite close with the leadership of the ANC, so that's when I first met them.
So in what year approximately would that have been?
It would have been around the 2000s. I don't exactly have recollection.
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then when you occupied the position of Deputy Minister, Department of Home Affairs, what dealings did you have with them?
Well, I did not have dealings. I don't exactly know what the word dealing means, because I didn't have any business or other dealings. I got to know them, and I used to be invited to attend various social and cultural events, which I did. You would understand that coming from KZN, some of those events are quite popular among the people who live in Durban. I had been an activist for quite a long time, so if I was invited to a Deeper Valley celebration, I would attend it. Besides the great meals that are offered, there would be various other religious things, and as a gesture of support for a cultural and religious function, one would attend. So I wouldn't call that dealings.
Interactions.
Interactions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Gigaba may continue with his testimony, but many are looking forward to him having an opportunity to cross-examine his wife, Norma.
Right, that's the wrap of the week's highlights at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry compiled by Khayeliihle Khumalo.